What is one thing you would tell your younger self or a new person entering the world of media entertainment?
Yeah, I think you got to ask yourself why you got into what you got into in the first place. And I think is that the journey for you? The entertainment business from the outside could look very shiny and attractive for a lot of reasons because that's what you see on the red carpets, on the press kits, and all of that. Nobody really talks about the hustle that goes into actually developing ideas, developing IP, being out there, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable. Sometimes, if you're freelancing, you'll have 9 great months and three sort of slow months. So understanding that your finances are going to have to be sort of managed a little bit differently than someone that has a 9 to 5, so to speak, or um, a, 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 a regular job. Uh, if you work in the studio system, obviously those things sort of kind of come together. You are working in entertainment, but you're also working in a corporation or a studio. So that, sort of stability and security comes with it. But if you are working in a small shop, if you're working at a independent film studio, or if you're starting your own studio, or if you're starting your own business, there are a lot of things outside of creating content that you're going to have to be sort of managing on a day to day. So you have to ask yourself, am I built for this? Do I have the skill sets and the characteristics that are going to allow me to be successful in this space? And I think by asking yourself those questions and depending on the answers you're going to get, it will crystallize your vision. So I think passion is very, very important, but I think also just, you know what are the expectations from yourself? So just real conversations with yourself, with your peers, your partner in life, whatever that may be. I think these are the things you're gonna have to pay attention to. So yeah, but besides that, honestly, um people could give you also many, many reasons as to why not to get into the business. And I always say, um, and just like in any profession, like, there's ups and downs. If you're in the medical profession, or if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, you're probably working 12, 13 hours, during the day, and high intensity sort of environments as well, where sometimes it's about life and death. It's, the degree of difficulty sort of, changes, right? But, entertainment is the same thing. If you're in the sort of below the line spaces and you're working on set, those are going to be the hours. Those are going to be the commitments that you're going to have to make. You may have to travel for, a couple of months outside of the home state you live in, or leave your family for, a little while. But, those are the sacrifices that have to be made. So, and I think if you ask yourself those questions and you get the answers, then, you go for it at full throttle and full speed.
Thank you for answering my questions. I'm going to pass it on to the next interview.
Sure. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. My
Nice to
name
meet
is
you as
Casey,
well.
but yeah. So starting with some of my questions that I have for you. Um,
Sure.
okay, starting. Okay, why did you initially choose production and switch to the administrative side of the business? Like, what made you want to switch?
Yeah, good question. I think it was not necessarily by design. I think it was just a natural progression because I think people who were managing me at various points in my career probably saw that I had the right temperament to work with different teams at different capacity, that I had some leadership qualities, and it also gave me the flexibility as I sort of grew into age and became older and started a family, it allowed me to be around my family a lot more than being outside on set or traveling for productions, which is what I was talking about in the previous question. So honestly, not that I don't love being in production. I love, visiting set, working on set and whatnot, but I think my skill sets in general and sensibilities probably were a better fit for, managing and administrative on the other side, and letting other creatives sort of come in and do their thing, and supporting them and being available to help execute the vision of the creatives became sort of like the next thing for me. So I welcomed it. I didn't notice the change, particularly around COVID, because there was a lot of like, oh, we can't come to the office anymore, so we have to run all these productions from wherever we're going to be. And I think just again, my ability to be able to juggle time management and manage, people in various teams just kind of led me straight into that path.
And so I kind of go on with it. Do you already have like like characteristics of like administrative work, or kind of was it like something that you had to like acquired traits of like learn a little bit more about being in that position?
Yeah, no, good, very good questions. And so I think a lot of those skill sets actually came from earlier that I mentioned of just working up like through different departments. You start learning different sets of skills, like you start learning how to use movie magic and budgeting and scheduling. You start learning how to use Final Draft. You start using how to break down a script. You start learning, different sets of skills, but then also, how you answer emails, how you make those phone calls, how you make a deal happen, how you close a deal. All of these sort of things just kind of organically come together. But that doesn't stop there. What you also have to do is you have to learn new technology and also new ways of being able to do things as tech is just sort of steeping into the workplace at different capacities at such an accelerated rate. Even using AI tools I was talking about right now, there's a big debate right now going on here as to where's AI's sort of place in the creative sort of universe. And I'm not one to dismiss it entirely, but I also believe that great stories come from real experiences from people. So I don't want my scripts written by AI, but I can tell you where AI can help you in getting your work done very efficiently and quickly. And I think post production could be a place where you're trying to bring in assemblies, when you're editing, color correction, whether you're doing sound or whatnot. There is a place for these things to coexist. So in your sort of professional setting, learning these new tools is only going to make you stronger and well equipped to handle the business as it grows into the future. And so being able to work on the human side of it all, but also being able to sort of get yourself well versed in the tech aspects of it all. I think continuously learning and having the appetite and the stamina I was talking about earlier is where this is going to come into play.
And then also speaking with that about like new technologies coming into the industry of like AI and whatnot. I know you spoke about this before with the other interviewer, but kind of going back on it, what is the best ways that you found to position yourself for the ups and downs of Hollywood, the business of film and media, of like, the changes that happens?
Yeah, no, very, very good question, because like I'm trying to answer that question for myself right now, because it's literally what's happening and what's disrupting the business as we speak. I think in the last year or two, what you saw is the accelerated sort of decline of the cable model. So linear television just slowly dying week after week, month after month. The streamers sort of gaining, a tremendous amount of market share, but the creator and creative economy, like whether it's on YouTube or different platforms, TikTok, now becoming sort of the place, for creatives to sort of positions themselves into. So now what it becomes is you sort of cut out the middleman, and now the creator or the creative has direct sort of contact with the consumer on the other side as well. So how do you learn how to monetize your content? um, it can remain, committed to telling short form and long form, films or stories, but the platforms that are going to be available to you are going to be so different than what I was sort of used to coming up. So you kind of have to reprogram your brain as to how that works. And we're witnessing, I think, the moment right now. I think in 10 years we'll look back at this sort of year, I think 24, 25, as the year that basically everything changed. The micro dramas, the verticals, uh, the creator sort of having ownership of their own sort of IP on the platform of their choosing, and being able to create a revenue stream that is going to help them sustain their businesses is going to be the focal point. And I think what brands and the audience is going to be interested in. So I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, I've had, about 18 plus years of experience in this business. I consider myself still, young, in the sense that I can probably give another strong 10, 12 years to this business. But as a creative, and also as an executive, but where is that going to take me? And I think finding that balance is something that I find myself like trying to get ahead of every day. Like I wake up, I have to sort of read the articles that are coming out, what sort of business is being done. You have resources like Deadline that are fantastic, that you should all check out. Like, literally make it a habit. You remember how people used to get up and read the newspaper when they were having coffee? If you're serious about this business, you go to Deadline, go to Variety or the Hollywood Reporter, go to their sites, look at what's being published, who's buying what, who's making moves, what are the sort of studios or the broadcasters or the streamers that are positioning themselves for the next 5, 10 years. These are where all the jobs and careers are going to be. So just getting yourself sort of acclimated to how the business is evolving, just like I have to every morning, I think is going to put you at a massive advantage.